Well, good evening, everyone.
Hey,
welcome to the 3BeerPod.
what's going on?
Not too much. I'm Chris. That is Tim. It's episode number 3 of the 3BeerPod. I don't know. I'm not feeling this. Lighting is a horrible thing tonight. What is happening? So I apologize.
Bright and sunny day here in southwestern Ontario, Chris. Let's go with that.
All right, we'll go with that. We haven't got a lighting engineer on staff yet, but we will we'll work towards that. That's for sure. All right, pod number 3 of the 3BeerPod. Let's start off with as we always do on the pod. Let's start off with Whatcha Drinkin Bahd here tonight. So Timmer, Whatcha Drinkin Bahd?
Oh, just getting ready to crack this one right here. Oh, there it is. If anyone knows me, they know that this is it for me right here. This is a Sunsplit IPA.
Yep.
Out of Ottawa, Dominion City Brewery. This stuff sells out as soon as it comes out, and luckily we're able to get some here. $10 flat rate shipping here to southwestern Ontario.
Oh, nice.
And lots of people jump on board with that. So I'm gonna pour this nice and juicy. Oh boy.
Oh, get it in you. Tonight I'm going with first time I've ever had this. This is the Rally Cap Left Field Brewery, and you were just telling me the background, Tim. I picked this up here today. Kind of a last-minute purchase, little Rally Cap. So that's what I'm drinking here tonight. Give me the background of this one, Timmer. You know the details.
Great brewery out of Toronto. Went there last summer. Baseball-themed brewery.
Yeah.
Awesome little brew pub there. And I recommend the Laser Show, which is the double IPA out of left field. It's a smooth drinking double IPA. That's what I call it.
That is awesome. Somebody asked me, and maybe this is a good way we can lead into it. Somebody asked me how you and I met. And what's it going to be, like 9 years ago now?
Yeah, I think this would be 9-10 years now that we started playing the famous Dover 2-pitch baseball together.
Yeah.
You were brought on board to the squad after we had won back-to-back championships. And then the well has dried up since then.
And then we have won a combined 7 games since.
Yes, we finish a annual 4th place every year, and no coincidence or anything like that. But not blaming, not pointing fingers.
Yeah, I feel somewhat responsible for that, so I apologize. All right, let's say first of all, thank you to our sponsors. Once again, at the 3BeerPod, it is me from Realty Connects. So. Remember, again, if you buy or sell a house with me, I will buy you a 6-pack of your favorite beer, which I should. Cheers. Sold a house tonight. So
come on.
Yepper. Right. Doing it in the middle of a pandemic. So
do I get 6 beers every time you sell a house too?
I'll have to work on the details.
I got 6 beers dropped off in my house today.
That's right. So that's too funny. Hey, Ryan. Nick Lovin jumping on here tonight. Denny, guest from last week with Red Barn. And, of course, Quigg, still one of the best leadoffs. That's right. Speed to burn.
Oh, buddy.
Triples for breakfast. Before we get to the beer buzz, we should tell everyone who our guest is tonight from Kingsville Brewery in Kingsville, Ontario. It is Marty Turco, one of the owners of the Kingsville Brewery. And awesome. Former NHL goaltender. He's going to join us coming up here in just a little bit, and he'll be in Dallas here tonight, where he has been holed up, I should say, with the quarantine, which is obviously going on around the world right now. So Marty's going to jump on here in a little bit. A legend in the NHL, played 12 years. So we've done some hockey homework. We'll talk beer as well. What's that, Timmer?
That's exciting stuff.
Michelle, you want 6 beers? Buy or sell, and I'll get your house listed.
Dropped off 6 beers to Michelle yesterday for her birthday.
There you go. All right, Timmer, we got some beer buzz here for you today. This is news that's going on in the world of beer. I guess the first one is, we know the price of gas is what is it right now? Like 71 cents or something?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't put gas in my truck in 7 weeks.
You know what I've been doing? I've been getting gas like every other day because I see it so cheap, so I don't want to miss it. And I'm getting like $7, and I'm filling up the tank. So I'm still filling her up, but
keep her topped up.
Yeah, the story here today on the Beer Buzz is a barrel of oil is now cheaper than a pint of beer. I think we should invest in a couple barrels there, Timmer, and leave it in the back of the garage.
We just we store it for now.
Yep.
It seems dangerous, especially with some activities that happened in my backyard sometimes with the summer pool parties.
That's true.
We want barrels of oil hanging around.
That's true. That's true. Right now, a price of a Western Canada Select barrel, which is one of the high premium blends, is $4.18.
Wow. The Ford Ranger, the 2005 Ford Ranger, is going to be getting some love with some premium gasoline next time I fill up.
Yeah, give her some love. I might not know what hit it there.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Lynn, thank you. Yep, been a great brewery in Kingsville. Yep, been there for sure. And Johnny Dent, regular viewer of the 3BeerPod, drinking a Kingsville Czech lager right now. So yeah, it's very good. We've got 3 that we're going to try out here when Marty jumps on. All right, another story in the beer buzz here today, Timmy, is that beer may be losing its fizz as CO2 supplies are going flat during the pandemic. That's the headline. You're the science guy here.
As an avid beer drinker, I don't like flat beer. So in the carbonation process, we need to add some CO2. And if we can't add CO2 to it, then we're going to get some flat beer. So looks like some brewers might have to start capturing their own CO2, plug it back in that way. That could be a solution. But they're probably not all set up to do stuff like that. So they're probably just going to take the hit on the price.
Yeah, the CO2 suppliers have been hit with some about 25% increase from, or the breweries have been hit by an increase on their suppliers by about 25% for some. So, yeah, we could see some flat beer and some flat pop here over the next little while. That's your beer buzz for you here today. It looks like Marty's online, but we'll check in with him here in just a couple of minutes on the 3BeerPod, talking about Kingsville Brewery. But we want to play a little game, and you can jump in here on the comments as well. It's a game that we introduced last week on the 3BeerPod. Is real beer or fake beer? Real beer or fake beer? This
went over real well last week, so we're gonna bring it back this week. I've got three. There's a theme to this one too, a little bit of a theme to this one too, and you gotta see if you can decide if it's real or fake.
Okay, what do you got?
First beer up. We'll start simple. Crop Tour.
I know that one. That's a real beer. 100% real beer.
Crop Tour, 100% real beer, says Chris McLeod.
And
yeah.
Nice. Okay. Who's that? Is this all the same brand? Are we going with again? Same brewery?
I can't tell you yet. Next. Oops, it fell out. It doesn't say what fell out. It just says it.
That's not a beer. That is not a beer. That is not a beer. Oh, Quiggs knows. Quiggs says it's real. Tommy Page says it's real.
Chris McLeod says
I'm gonna go. I can't go against those guys. I'm gonna go with them.
He said it's real beer. Yeah, that's a real beer. That's a real beer.
Thank you, boys.
That's 2 for 2.
Thank you, fellas.
This week. And finally, Farmer's Tan.
That's what do you guys think here tonight? We're gonna say a couple fakes here. Jeff and Derek say fake. I'm gonna go with Lynn here on this one. I think you're throwing me a curveball again. You're going all real beers. All real beers tonight.
All real beers tonight again.
Thank you, boys.
Chris McLeod, listen to the fans today. And all 3 beers are from Stone Picker Brewery, which is just a little south of Forest. Pretty cool operation on an old farming setup. Brew right in the barn there. I was able to visit there last summer. Solid beer. Good little spot to visit on a summer day when we're not all locked down. These are the things that I dream about and think about when I'm trying to pass the time of isolating myself. I think about the good times I had at breweries, and that's 2 weeks in a row of some good breweries that we went to.
For sure. Should we bring in our guest, Tim, or you got something else here?
No, I'm good.
All right, here he is. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the broadcast. This is Marty Turco, all the way from Dallas, Texas. Hey, Marty, how you doing, buddy?
I'm great. How you guys doing?
We're doing very well.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, this is awesome to have you on. I know it's been kind of going back and forth here, trying to get you lined up, but we appreciate it. You're in Dallas, correct? Is that where you've been quarantined?
This is where I've been quarantined. So this is lockdown. I wish I was in Ontario sometimes, even though you guys got some snow recently. I saw. I don't really miss the white stuff, but the land of good beers. It's good to be there every once in a while. But Texas treated me okay too.
For sure, for sure. So obviously hockey fans will recognize you from the NHL in your time with the Dallas Stars mainly, where you were a 3-time All-Star, but you're also a brewery owner with the Kingsville Brewery, which is, what are we saying, Tim, about 45 minutes from our front door right to the brewery?
Yeah, I'd say door to door, 45 minutes. It's a nice little afternoon jaunt down to Kingsville.
Nice. What are you drinking tonight, Marty? What are you drinking tonight in the cup there?
I'm a lager fan, but I just had to give my Go Blue a little shout out right here. But I'm a lager guy. We got two of them. We got our Light A and our Czech style lager. It was hot today in Dallas. Honestly, I almost went for the Hefeweizen. It's good on a hot summer day, but we had 80 degrees in Texas. Expecting some storms overnight though.
That's awesome. All right, so Marty, where do you want to start, Tim? You want to start beer or do you want to start hockey? How do you want to do this?
I don't know. Marty was just dropping some of these names of these beers. I think we should crack one right now, Chris.
Which one do you want to start here?
I like the Czech style hockey. Let's go. This one here. Johnny Dent's drinking this one right now online with us right now, Chris. So we'll try this one as well.
All right, crack this one open here, Marty. Marty, how much do you have to say in the beer and the brewing side of things?
I mean, at the end of the day, really not that much. Derek, our brewmaster, he's responsible for 4 of them. He's got another 40, I think, in the queue ready to go. We got to tap his brakes every once in a while, but he's, you got to leave it to the experts. It's like you want to stop some pucks, I might be able to help you out. You want to make some beers, you got to leave it up to him. I know what I like, and we have an IPA as well too. And I just originally asked him, I said, we want to be a little more mainstream, very drinkable beers at the beginning. And he delivered on point on all 4 of his. My cousin and co-owner, Mark Muzzin, that you guys might know, down there in Kingsville, he created the original one, the whiskey stout, the barrel-aged one that we get the Hiram Walker barrels and use it. Dr. Don Livermore is a good friend, and we appreciate him letting us use the barrels to age a great stout. So he's got a lot to do. He's been in the wine business with his wife, Isabella, my other partner, for a long time. So beer came easy, but Derek really nailed it with these ones. I look forward to seeing what he's going to do when we get up and rocking.
So one thing I noticed on the can, so obviously Kingsville Brewery, and then I don't know if we can see this here on the shot there, but it's 127 right there. Could you tell us what the 127 stands for?
Yeah, I'd love to, and I got to bring out my Michigan mug. Well, when Mark came to me, probably maybe almost close to 5 years ago, with the whiskey stout, he just said thanks, for all you did over your career. And we got opportunity to share a lot of things with him. Right from my Michigan days, he was right there in Windsor where he grew up, and he get a chance to come over to Ann Arbor. To him, he's like, dude, man, I got to hang out with Charles Woodson, Brian Greasy, Tom Brady, never mind all the future NHLers that played on your team. And, we went to 4 Final Fours when I was in college. And so when he brought the beer over, he's like, man, I want to call it 127. And because that's the amount of wins I had in college, which is the NCAA record. And, it's pretty untouchable. It's hard to play 4 years, stay healthy, and win that many games. We just had good teams. So we put that on there for conversation. That's just the genesis of when Mark brought me that first beer, half a decade ago. And here we are today. We put it on all the cans. If people know about it, people don't care. It's fine. It's just a little something for us.
We're going to bounce around a little bit here, Marty. So you're a kid from Sault Ste. Marie. You play at the University of Michigan, which we'll get into. Then you go to the AHL in Kalamazoo, and then you end up in Dallas. Where does Kingsville fit in all of this, and how do you end up with a brewery in Kingsville?
Well, that's a great question, and honestly, it has a lot more significance to me than I even fathomed. So my Mark and Isabella, they're the butchers of Kingsville. Growing up, Pelee Island's in the area. Isabella's dad used to be the winemaker there. For them, So they settled, put their roots down with their family in Kingsville, and it's a southernmost city in Canada. There's just so much to offer. The brew house that we're almost finished building is right there on Lake Erie. I grew up on the Great Lakes; they're very special to me. But another real cool twist of fate was when I was in college, and Mr. Brian Heaton was still alive. I'd go over to Harrow in Kingsville and get my goal equipment made.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. He obviously had the Heaton plant in Harrow in Kingsville, had the Brian's equipment. And so I was a Heaton guy. And so I spent time and had lunch and hung out with Mr. Heaton right there in Kingsville. Little did I know, a couple decades later, would be owning a brewery right there. But I'll tell you, the location's great, man. It's a beautiful area. You talk about Southern Ontario, you guys know what's going on around there.
Yeah.
The business is booming. It's a good place to be, and I enjoy spending time there. So, and my cousin's there, and he runs the business, so it all worked out for the better.
The Kingsville downtown has really revitalized itself with three breweries there, a couple of hotels, bed and breakfast. What do you think the key to that was to make that all happen?
Well, I think the locals got together. I take all the information from Mark and Isabella, and they, it's a beautiful place. And the climate, the one thing I never couldn't realize how temperate the climate is relative to even, 45 minutes north of that. And, going to school in Ann Arbor, I knew what winters were like in Michigan. And I'm not saying Kingsville's balmy all winter long, but, that effect off Lake Erie really keeps it warm. And so a lot of people have been buying property there and houses on the lake as a retirement. It's a safe country kind of town that's really starting to grow. And, the businesses in town, there's, restaurants and those breweries and hotels. I mean, it's a neat little place to roll to. It's not far from Detroit and Windsor. Get a lot of action. London, the next biggest city away, is all not too far either. But I think they've just done a great job. And that whole area of Kingsville all the way through to Leamington. They just had agriculture boom for a long time. And so I think just people are starting to realize the big benefits of having a little bit better climate than the rest of Ontario.
Marty, it is a great place. Sorry, Timber, go ahead, buddy.
Can we just drop that we came up for the idea of this podcast while sitting at the Grove Brewery in Kingsville one night, probably for a much longer shift than we should have, and said, hey, why don't we come up with a beer podcast? And where we're at. So Kingsville kind of started it off for us too, Marty, and we're glad to have you on board with us tonight. Pretty awesome.
Well, no, thanks for sharing. I just think the Grove, there's a little space up top there that I've been at a few times, but I think that hotel, the ownership's really, really, really cool. We're doing a lot of the great things together with other, local business and breweries. To me, playing on a team my whole life, hockey is the greatest team sport on the planet, and really to come together for everybody in that little community. I know Mark's and Isabella have been entrenched a long time. It's I just like the feeling, and I'm glad that that's the epicenter for this podcast. And I'm happy to be on it.
Yeah, awesome.
Let's start a little hockey. So you played at the University of Michigan, and for those locals, Brian Wiseman was just leaving the team. He's a local guy. He was just leaving the team as a star at the University of Michigan. Then you came in. You played 4 years at the University of Michigan. I wanted to ask about, and you mentioned some names: Tom Brady, Brian Greasy, and Woodson were all there at the same time. Was there any crossover with the hockey team and the football guys? Did you have any interaction with those guys?
Oh yeah, probably more than anybody would imagine. Their season was pretty intense through the summer, right from spring ball all the way through to the Ohio State game, late November, and then the bowl games. The teams we had were good. My senior year, they won the national championship, the Rose Bowl. And it was just awesome. But from classes to study hall. But just the athletic community being really small, we knew almost all of them. I still see all those guys. A lot of them today. I still hang out with Brian Greasy the most. We were in a leadership group our senior year together. He almost didn't come back for that senior year, and he got won MVP of the Rose Bowl, got drafted to the Broncos, and had a nice little NFL career. But so we still talk to these guys a lot. We cross-pollinated so much, and whether we're having a beers on a Saturday night. And after a big game, they supported us. We supported them. Same with a lot of other sports. But having two big programs like that on top of their game and really, winning championships. Being together is really the most fun we had.
That's really cool. Like, if we wanted Tom Brady's phone number, would you have that in your contacts?
I would never give it to you. And, I think he's hopefully he switches to a Tampa Bay number. And I saw the news about Gronk today. I hope it's true. It'd be unbelievable if Gronk does come back, he gets in shape and can play. I mean, and we can just actually watch sports again, and it would be awesome. But he was just a third string quarterback when I was there, and he never played it down, waited his turn, and obviously, you know, look at him now, best football player ever play.
It's crazy. I got some hockey stuff here. I'm the hockey guy. Tim's the beer guy. He knows beer inside out. So
speaking of the beer guy, I'm just gonna crack the other one, Chris. Just gonna
get into her, Timmer. Get into her. So
the Kingsville Pale Ale, KPA.
Nice.
Yeah, it's overly. You know, I told him I didn't want this one too hoppy just out of the gate, and Derek was like, "Man, I really want to." And you know, IPAs were, and I mean, it's strong. The category is huge all across North America, and so I told him make it a little more drinkable and keep the IBUs down. But still, you get the hops come out of it. He did a great job. It's really drinkable. For me, that one on tap is my favorite of ours on tap. I just think it just comes great, a little fresher. But anyway, hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think.
Marty, a 3-time All-Star with the Dallas Stars. You are on the top of all goaltenders lists for the Dallas Stars in their career. 262 wins, 40 shutouts, 22 assists. You could handle the puck, but 160 penalty minutes for a goaltender. That seems abnormally high. What's going on there?
That was. I don't think that's correct. 160.
That's what it says.
Oh my gosh. Well, I am. You know, it's just the way we grew up and played, man. You know, it's Canadians. You wonder why. You know, the history of the NHL. You look down the record book. It's just one Canadian after another. It has nothing to do with being aggressive or anything. But when you grow up in Sault Ste. Marie and you play in the streets and in the parks and down in Zucker's Rink, people from the Sioux would know it. You play to win, and that's it. And when I got to the NHL, none of my coaches, GMs, I mean, a little bit, a few years here and there, but it was just who I was, man. I was playing to win. I was trying to get the advantage, poking and prodding. There's a few nights I wish I hadn't hit certain guys. Probably the worst one I ever hit was Joe Sakic. I didn't know it was him. I probably wouldn't have hit him in the knee, but he was cut across. I wanted to see the shot, and you know that's what happened when he cut across my crease. And I probably wasn't drinking good enough beers the night before the game, and I got a little too agitated. It's probably what really happened.
That's funny. So you played at a different time, the way hockey was back then, clearing the crease with your stick and your defenseman moving guys out of the way. It was a different world back in the early 2000s.
It was, you know, I'm going to look back at my TV here. This one, we got Mike Madonna's celebration. This is on our local Fox Sports channel. And tonight they're airing, for the next couple of weeks, they're going to air the 99 Stanley Cup Finals, all the games with commentary and interviews from the guys and stuff. And honestly, it was that time was different. You go back and watch this era of just clutching and grabbing and skiing, you know, they call it. And Hatcher and Mapachuk are two awesome defensemen, but man, they didn't take any prisoners. So it was a different time. And by the end of my career in 2012, the young guys, the speed, no clutching and grabbing to the neutral zone, the stupid trapezoid, all that was in play. And I saw the transformation of the NHL to where we are today. But the beginning, man, it wasn't quite the line brawls like they had in the 80s and 90s, but it was the next step from that.
I do some stuff with the Ontario Hockey League, and I run into Darian Hatcher quite a bit, and I stand next to him in the buffet line. No. Yeah. You don't cut him off.
No, he was here, and I mean, he was in great shape his whole career, and now he's coaching. It's hard on the bus and stuff. I'm just giving Hatch some leeway. But he came here. We named one of our rinks after him and Brendan Morrow, one of my buddies, our two longest tenured captains, and he showed up for us, and I was like, oh, I didn't know Craig Ludwig could look small, and Hatcher did that. And I was like, dude, that's pretty darn impressive. And so I send him some regular at Kingsville, and we'll keep him stocked up for a while.
That's good. That's good. Him just enjoying it up in the Sarnia area. So I got a couple names I want to throw out at you. Okay, we won't keep it too much longer. A couple names of guys you played with that give us your thoughts on it. So let's start with, first of all, Eric Lindros. He was at the end of his career when he was with Dallas. What's your thoughts on the Big E?
You know, I got to see him last couple of years at his fundraiser. He raises some good money up in Oshawa area. I think we skated the Whippy rink for Easter Seals. He's a great dude. I really enjoy being around him. He's just, he's generally serious and stuff. But when he came here at the end of his career, and watching him my whole life, I had to tell him when he first got here, because he was on my team. I'm like, Eric, if you didn't know, I'm from Sault Ste. Marie. And most people know you snubbed the Nordiques, but I know what happened when you snubbed the Greyhounds. I just wanted, and he's like, "Oh man, that was a different time." I was like, "No, dude, thank you. We went to 3 Memorial Cups in a row, all because of the players that we got from the trade that you had and the drafts from those." So, I just want to say thanks. We'll get that out of the way, and we'll go on. But his skill set of a man that is that big was, I have to equate it to like a LeBron James in basketball. He's huge, and his foot speed was incredible. And you had to pay attention. He practiced like Yuri Ledin. Like every shot was hard from warm up right to the end. His backhand was incredible. But just how nimble the big man was really impressive. And in our 07 series, when we lost in 7 to Vancouver, he didn't play for the first few games, and he came back from a last couple, and I was like, man, if we would have had that guy for the whole series, I think things would have been a little bit different. But I also, if I would have had 4 shutouts that series, I probably would have won that series, but I only had 3. So we digress. The Big E is the man, and he's still doing great things, and he's a good family man these days up in Ontario. It's always good to see him.
Well, his parents are from the Chatham-Kent area too, so there's a little tie-in. Another somewhat local guy, Southwestern Ontario, Steve Ott. That guy could chirp quite a bit. I've run into him a couple times when he was helping out the Windsor Spitfires during the Memorial Cup run. Did he ever shut up? Like, was he always talking on the ice?
On the ice, oh my gosh! Locker room, in the hot tub, on the bus, on the plane, at the bar, at my house here. Yeah, it's like that's that's Steve-O, man. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He gives you shit off his back. He's funny. He can dish it out. Can't take it overly well, but he has no choice because he dishes it out a lot. But he's one player I played with a long time, and we drafted him in the first round. Really early in my career, and I got to watch him grow up. And so proud of him last year to get his name in the Stanley Cup. I wish we would have had something to do with it as a player here in Dallas. We tried our butts off, but he's one of my favorite human beings, and he's a great teammate. He's exactly what everybody thinks. Love to have him, hate to play against him. And he was on my side of the ledger for the majority of my career, so I was the one with all the pleasure.
Tim, I've got a list of hockey questions here. Did you want to jump in with something else? I'm geeking out, but
no, it's fine, and I appreciate that. The KPA is delicious. It's got a nice malty backbone to it. It's not overly hoppy and extremely drinkable. I also can ask sports questions too, Chris.
Hi, boy, Tim.
My question, I guess, is everyone's dying to get sports back. We had the Raptors win up here, and I'm dying for basketball to come back. Could you tell us what it would be like playing in front of an empty arena? Because that's one of the things that they think could happen. How much does the crowd fuel a professional athlete?
That's a great question, honestly, and the answer has to be. I don't know. Probably the closest thing I got to it was, and people can't even imagine it now, but in 2004, let's say, going up to Chicago playing the Blackhawks. There were nights that there was only 4,000 people in the crowd. 4,000 is a lot different than 0. But in a stadium that holds 22,000 people, it felt empty. But they weren't that good. We waxed them anyway. So I really don't know. Honestly, it's going to be weird. And I think what's the weirdest thing is, if they go to offsite arenas that don't that really don't have any stands. You know, if it's like just metal bleachers that, you know, my kid goes and plays at that for 11 years old, and then it counts, right? So it won't be the same if it's a Stanley Cup playoffs. I don't know, you know, because I really do think when you step on the ice and the music starts and the booing starts or the cheering starts, you know, you're just not going to have those introductions. You're not going to have the lights. You're not going to have the charisma, the scoreboard, and all that stuff. So the fans and the whole ball and wax plays a big part of it. The intensity on the players. You know, well, I mean, I just hope we get to see something, but we're gonna have to wait a few weeks to see what's going on here. But I'd love to see some hockey and some sports on TV. Watching reruns is getting a little bit old, but I'll do it nonetheless.
Fair enough.
That's too funny. I love that the Modano features in the background. That's so cool. And maybe I'll ask. That's the last question. What about your hockey time with Marty? I'm sorry, with Mike Modano. Marty, what was he like? One of the greatest American players to ever play the game.
Yeah, I mean, probably the greatest. I mean, he should be. He really transcended the game, and one of those players just from skating ability and his ability, just like skill wise. You know, with his tall, good looks, he really transcended to USA hockey and the young guys. You look at the players now in the NHL. He was by far and away the favorite player of these guys, and he was ours too, man. And he was so important to our franchise here in Dallas. Came from Minnesota originally, played in the organization for 20 years as a first overall pick. He did everything they asked him to. You come down to Dallas when hockey's not as prevalent as, you know, like we grew up. He was everywhere, and he's everywhere because he was good, and he really meant a lot to this franchise. He didn't carry it on his shoulders on the ice every night. There's no salary cap, so during the cup runs, they had some really awesome players around him. But he did carry the franchise on his shoulder in terms of visibility. And people, when they say, if they know one person in Dallas Stars history, it's always Mike Modano. And the guy was good, and he led the team in scoring for something crazy like, I don't know, I'm making it up, at like 12 straight years. Wow. And I don't think I'm wrong. It might even be longer. He was just good. He made sacrifices too when Ken Hitchcock came here to play defensive game. When everybody else was scoring goals and putting up hundreds of points, Hitch said, "Hey, we want to win with this team, and we need you to play a little defense." And he did that. And so his sacrifice and what he meant to the team was awesome. So get his jersey retired, go in the Hall of Fame relatively quick. It was no shock, but to play with him for 10 years was pretty special in my career.
Got a question from Chad. Would an NHL team survive in the Sioux with the Sioux, Sudbury, and some of those northern cities to support them? What do you think about that? I don't know about that.
Well, the answer is no, just because you know, it's hard enough even for junior teams, honestly. Yeah. There's the competition now, especially with the CBA. I know what goes into it. I work for the Dallas Stars here as well on the business side. So I know what goes on to the metrics of what it costs to run an NHL team. You just need businesses. You know, you need corporate sponsors, and you need fans that are willing to pay. It's just it's a sheer numbers thing. It's not – people would show up. It's just the cost is absorbent in order to go to an NHL game. I feel for the fans. Hopefully costs do come down now after all this. But I will say that there is, and I'm clearly biased, but the Sioux and Sudbury have such hockey history and love of the game, and some unbelievable players that have come out of there. I know the history of Sault Ste. Marie. You know, I was lucky enough to Sioux made me a Hall of Famer in our sports division. And, you know, I joke, but I'm not joking. I mean, I played a long time in the NHL. I'm not even close to being the best goalie coming from Sault Ste. Marie. I mean, Tony Esposito and Phil Esposito from Sault Ste. Marie as well. And, you know, Ronnie Francis is a Hall of Famer as well. We got tons of amazing hockey players that never even played professional hockey. So that was really what gave me the opportunity to hone my skill set, hack and slash a little bit to survive even at the NHL level. Was getting a chance to grow up and play against some really good players and good people at Sault Ste. Marie.
All right, your fourth last question.
Bring it. I love it.
This is Denny. Denny was a guest last week on the 3BeerPod. Him and his family are owners of, they're opening up a brewery here just locally, just outside of Chatham, actually in Blenheim, where Todd Warner lives. So Todd connected us. So Red Barn Brewery. He wants to know the beer of choice in your net water bottle.
Ooh, well, if I'm playing and I need to hydrate and I still got to see the puck, that's really important. Maybe not now. Well, our latest beer is our light one. It's called Light A. And I'd probably put that in a water bottle, and just splash it on the face a little bit, and maybe want to go for a swim after the game, like a cold tub, like old Bob and Doug McKenzie. That's what I'd love to do.
Love it. Sherry wants to know about curbside pickup at the Kingsville Brewery. Do we have that?
You know what we're doing? So in Essex County, we got a really good price of beer on right now. It's $90 for 2 cases of beer, which is a steal. But we want to make sure people stay hydrated during this lockdown phase, but we're also delivering free in Essex County. And so people have been doing that. So no curbside, just go on our website and order the beer and put you in the queue. The next day, beer is going to show up at your doorstep with our very safe social distancing drivers with gloves on and masks and all that. So, give the beers a wipe down, put them in your fridge and enjoy them. And for anybody else out there too, really soon, we're just figuring out logistics. We're going to extend this offer all the way up into the London area. Hopefully it'll be next week, but if not soon, we just know it's really important for people to stay safe, stay home, not infect others, adhere to the social guidelines, and have some of our safe people drop beers off at their house. Because I know I would appreciate it. Down here in Dallas, no one's dropping off beers at my house. I got to pick them up myself. So consider yourself guys lucky. So no curbside. Just let us come to you.
That's awesome. There, Chris, is your answer right there. Johnny Dent said he had a couple cases delivered the next day. That is awesome. Appreciate it. All right, Marty, we always wrap up. Tim, did you have anything else? You want me to jump into this one now?
Well, I could just keep talking all day, Chris, but the shout out to the Butcher of Kingsville. Chris and I were in Kingsville in January when the Kingsville Brew Pub opened up. We went there the next morning and had a refreshing beer to get us back on our wheels. And then we went next door to the Butcher of Kingsville and got some really awesome. I got a ribeye steak that was ridiculous. So that's your co-owner, right? Is that the connection there? And
exactly.
And the food served at the brew pub is coming from awesome.
Yeah. So Mark and Isabella Muzzin, they're the Butchers of Kingsville. They knew that area was just wanted something a little more decadent, and what it was missing was just a high-end butcher shop, and that's what it is. They've been servicing that area, restaurants alike, for a long time. They have a dry age deal that they do, so you get that ribeye and it's dry aged, and when time you get home, put it on the grill. You know what I'm talking about. So,
I do.
So that beer, our beer, and their meat from next door is what we have. We also have a Myra Mix'em Smoker, the only commercial one in Canada. It's from the famous guy down in Georgia. Is the greatest smoker on the planet. So you guys have eaten there. I haven't, because I was supposed to get up there early March and I haven't made it yet. So every time I see a post on social media, my mouth's watering and I'm like, what am I doing down here? But I can't complain. Texas has got some pretty good barbecue, and
fair enough.
I use it up just fine.
Lynn wants to ask a question here. Will you be doing the beer passports again this year? Do you know about that, Marty?
Hopefully we will be doing the beer passports. I think the problem is everything's up in the air this time of year. Hopefully things can get back to some kind of normalcy, and I'd love to say everything that people enjoyed before we're willing to do again. And we just want people to come back to the tap room. Drink the beers, enjoy each other's company. If we got to be sick, stand, sit, move tables a little bit farther apart, so be it. But you know what? This is all for the better. It's once in a lifetime global thing. And I was talking to my neighbor today. I just can't believe it. But, we're very lucky to be able to be home, get beers delivered and drink them and enjoy yourselves and get to watch the old hockey games and talk to new guys, man. It's just really nice to meet you guys and talk about beers and hockey and everything else in between. The one thing we're going to have in our brewery when it's finalized too is we're going to have like a hockey shrine, with Brian's around the corner, Brian's goalie equipment. We got some really opportunity to get some really cool equipment. And, so when we finally get up and going at the brew house, not the tap house, it's going to be a little goalie hockey mecca, and I will be like a little kid in a candy store every time I get to walk in there. Because my first All-Star game that I played, I got to sit beside Patrick Waugh, and I thought life couldn't get any better. I wasn't a Montreal fan, and I was playing for the Stars and all that, but he couldn't have been any nicer. And I was like, man, so fortunate to be a goalie. I was glad it happened years ago.
That's so awesome. All right, Marty, officially your last question. This is how we end these conversations is, who would you rather have a beer with? And I give you 3 options, okay? So you can go into detail why, you can go into detail why not, but it's all up to you, all right? So would it be former teammate Brett Hull? Would it be former goaltending partner Ed Belfour? Or would it be current Dallas Star Tyler Seguin? All notorious guys, like to have a good time. Who would you rather sit down and have a beverage with?
That's a good one, honestly. Eddie and I didn't talk too much when we were playing together for those 2 years. But we do talk often now, and he's got a great whiskey business going. So we'd probably have to drink whiskey if Eddie was there. And about Belfour Spirits, actually, we've got some really good whiskey out there. Hully, one of my favorite humans as well, super smart, funny. I mean, says whatever comes to his mind, and the more beers you have, the quicker it comes out of his mouth. We probably need a bucket of beers if we were golfing, because he loves to golf and he can play 54 holes a day. But he's an investor in Código Tequila, along with Brendan Moore and a few other hockey guys. So we probably have to drink tequila if we were with Hully. So, to my knowledge, I don't think Saggy's invested in any alcoholic companies. So I think we could actually sit down and have a beer. But these young guys, they're all ripped up and in shape. We probably only have to have 2 or 3. He's probably a lightweight. But he's come a long way, man. He's a heck of a kid, a good superstar. Yeah. I run the foundation too for the Dallas Stars, and I'll leave you with this. Every time we ask Tyler Seguin to show up or do something, he does. Just like all those other guys would, and it's really impressive to me in this day and age of superstars. Shows up with a smile on his face. He plays ball hockey with kids, reads books, does all that stuff. So there's no wrong answer there, but I'll say Saggy for the win.
Marty, we appreciate it. We've taken up a lot of your time. Good luck, Kingsville Brewery. We'll have to get down there as soon as life gets back to normal, and we'll have to get John again at some point down the line. Appreciate it, Marty.
Yeah, Chris, you too. Thanks, Tim. You guys stay safe.
Thanks you.
Marty Turco. Cheers, buddy. There you go. Very nice. Marty Turco, former NHLer, 3-time All-Star and part owner of the Kingsville Brewery right there. Let's see if we can – right there.
That's hard to do right there. That was awesome.
That was really cool. Really good dude. I had met him last year at a cancer fundraiser, just in passing real quick, and the Kingsville Brewery had sponsored it, and they had some of their beer there, and that's where we originally just a quick said hello, and I thought when we started doing this, and the way you told the story about how we came up with this sitting at the brewery in Kingsville, it's kind of just neat that it went hand in hand.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I did sneak in the third taster here of the Hefeweizen. It's delicious. Really good in the summertime, I bet. I'm really looking forward to summertime. We should really hook up with Marty when he's in Kingsville. That's what we need to try and do. And we'll come up with more great ideas.
Kingsville
is the epicenter of great ideas. Let's put that on the when you're driving into town.
Yeah, that's
good
awesome.
Ideas are had.
I know. I'm going to have to talk to Marty about his lighting, because he is killing it, the lighting. I am not doing anything right in this side here. Nothing. Well, Marty, appreciate it. Marty Turco, NHL All-Star, 3-time All-Star with the Dallas Stars, and still works with Dallas down there in obviously down in Texas and Kingsville Brewery. Got to check it out, kingsvillebrewery.ca. And he said they will deliver right to the door. That's pretty cool in Essex County.
That's pretty awesome. For the record, I'm going Brett Hull on that.
Yeah,
I think Brett Hull and I would get along pretty well in our conversation and beverage drinking. Probably we'd have a good time together.
Yeah,
you?
Yeah, I think Tyler's a good-looking dude, man. I would be like the Hunchback of Notre Dame next to that guy. Yeah, there would be no hanging. So, and who's the other? Ed Belfour. Yeah, he's a goalie. Goalies are a little.
Me, you, and Brett Hull have a night.
Yeah, we'll wait for that phone call. All right. Yeah, McLovin is calling me out here. 3BeerPod, and I've literally only had a beer and a half tonight, so I'm well behind. But Marty Turco, our guest here tonight. Timmer, we're working back on the 3BeerPod episode number 4 for next Tuesday. We've got some ideas, but we'll solidify those and keep an eye on the Facebook page.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. It's been a lot of fun. That was a sweet guest, and hopefully hook up with Marty sometime in Kingsville.
Appreciate it. Cheers, guys.
See you, Chris.